at one point I gave up. The whole health journey thing, I just was like, like for real, I ain't drinking, I ain't smoking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be eating crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Pre-diabetes, I was like, yo, if 7 is the, worst, I'm at 6.1. One of the young men who's in our speakers program, he just talked about how he ran 100 miles, and how he did it praying and just talking to God. And I was like, yo, that's dope. Like, I've always wanted to run a marathon. He was like, no, for real? I was like, yeah, for real. He was like, no, for real? I was like, in my mind, yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like it's always been a dream and a goal since I was young. And so he was like, nah, bro, put your shoes on, put your shorts on, let's go. Let's start right now. I got back and he was like, yo, here go the schedule. So we ran 2 one day, 3 one day, 2 one day, cross-train, 30 minutes, 3 one day cross-train, and I woke up one day and I had ran 26 miles, y'all. And so what I realized was I just was looking at the wrong goal. Running from diabetes wasn't enough. Running from hypertension wasn't enough. Running from sleep apnea, it wasn't enough. I needed something to run towards. I'm saying to some of you out there, you like me. It's like, yo, you frustrated. You tried medication, you tried exercise, you tried to change your diet, and you just threw your hands up. You like, enough is enough. Like, and I feel you. It's some people, for real, man, I ain't gonna lie, they just wired to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wake up wanting to run, they wake up wanting to exercise, they wake up wanting to eat right. Like, it's just who they are. They lift weights 2-3 times a day. I'm just being real. It wasn't in me. Speaking was in me. Helping people was in me from a financial standpoint. Being able to provide for my family and others, that was in me. Changing the world was in me. Writing a book, you know what I'm saying? I was pre-New York Times bestseller. That was in me. So I'm saying to you, like, let's do this together. Like, you don't gotta do this by yourself no more. I know I did the spiritual thing with you, right? Now I wanna do the fitness thing with you. I'm gonna give you all the habits, not only to attain your greatness, but to sustain and maintain your greatness. We start June 24th, that's what I said. I'm gonna give you some time to get yourself ready. Like, if you was with us in more in 24 in February to start the year off, I'm gonna give you that same fuel. I'm gonna give you that same guidance, but we're gonna take it to another level. We're not just gonna do it in the spirit this time. We're gonna do it spiritually, we're gonna do it physically. Right now, you should be doing what I did when Doug said, E, you run that marathon? I said, yeah, I wanna run it. When I get home, we'll start. He said, no. Let's run right now. And 2 miles turned into 26 miles 2 months later, 3 months later. Are you listening to me? For 21 straight days, your boy E.T. and my friends, we gonna run with you together. So come on, let's run together. Let's do this thing together. This is why I decided to run, because somebody who was a runner saw the condition I was in, knew what I was capable of, and challenged me. And I'm challenging you.
S2S fam, what's going on? Y'all already know, CJ here. Listen, man, little insider tip. We going to Egypt, all right? And we documenting the whole thing on Patreon. So it's gonna be an exclusive vlog only for our Patreon members. You already know you should be in the Patreon. If you're not, you get access to live podcasts, early releases, extra ETA content, e-speeches from all over the world. You also get it commercial free, all right? I know you don't like them commercials, so jump over on the Patreon app, all right? S2S podcast on Patreon. And I'm telling you, this Egypt trip, man, the wives coming, some other friends, it's gonna be amazing. You don't wanna miss it. So make sure you sign up for Patreon today, because by the time y'all hear this, we're gonna be in Egypt, going crazy at the pyramids, all right? So lock in with us, S2S Patreon. We'll see y'all there. Peace.
If you a husband and you killing the game, it doesn't matter if you're killing the game if your wife not killing the game. If your wife and you killing the game, but your kids screwing up stuff, it doesn't matter if the two of y'all killing it. You gotta have many kids you got that could destroy the legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's research that shows once you get past the first one and you call this thing a legacy, or the second one gonna automatically be in legacy because of what you did. But that third one gonna determine if they destroy everything you built or not. You feel me? That third generation is gonna decide, do we keep this legacy going, or whatever granddad worked for, I'm about to blow it out the frame. So it's really not an option to take it. It's not an option to learn you. It's not an option to learn others.
You ready? All right.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Carl Wesley Phillips.
What is going on? What it do, y'all?
Dr. King in the building. Dr. King, what's happening, man?
Hey man, I'm good, brother. How you feeling?
Man, come on, bro. We got stars in the building.
Ooh.
Finally, I feel like I got somebody on here who could match my way. You know what I'm saying? We got we got Douglas in the building. Douglas, how you feeling?
I'm good.
And man,
Let's get to the
y'all
champion.
know this next man. He needs no introduction.
None.
He over there looking like he in shape.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
I lost a little weight.
I was a little worried about you when
Me
you
too.
had your baby. I said, that's usually when you get a little dad gut, dad bod, but I guess you gonna hold off.
Every day is every day.
We got my brother Mostafa Ghonim in the building. Or Mostafa Adele, as we just heard. Yeah, we just learned. I'm gonna just start calling you Adele. You know what I'm saying? What's happening?
Doc's favorite artist right there.
Absolutely.
Always.
I'm saying.
Rolling in the deep. How you feeling, Moose?
Blessed, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Been a little while, but
Yeah.
joined by greatness for real. Yeah.
Yeah, and since Moose has been on the pod last, you know what I'm saying, I want to give an ovation. Moose is now our, I don't know what, CEO, president, director of operations,
He makes stuff happen.
customer relations, and obviously, man, went from, running Extreme Execution to kind of running
Everything.
our entire enterprise.
I was trying to get him on the APOC side.
Yeah,
He
I
was
said
like,
no.
enough.
I said no.
Enough.
He called me and said, hey, I'm thinking about No.
I said, we got a couple extra dollars on that side.
I literally told him no. And I was like, no, but anyway, Moose is, he's running the show now, man. So great to have you on, brother. And, like I said, I just felt like it was time for you to come share your expertise. And I'll never forget, man, Moose, I see him training now. I just see him leading. And I'll never forget when we were at P7D and Moose sat in the front row. Yep.
All was in the building.
Moose sat in the front row. And Moose came up to me afterwards and was like, yo, I really want to sign up for the program. Do you think I can do it? And I knew Moose for a little while at this time. And I just noticed his spirit and his energy. And I was like, I believe you could do this. Like, I believe you have a future in this. And he was like, I bet. And I mean, he's been rocking and rolling with us literally ever since. And I don't know what it was, Moose, that you wanted my approval back then. I'm not exactly sure what that meant.
No, that's right.
But I believed in you. And to see you go from that to now, running the day-to-day operations for us and scaling this thing like you have and, just being a blessing to the community, at large it's incredible. Another funny Moose story. Moose,
Bring them all out now.
Yeah.
All of them is coming out.
Yeah. I just want to let you know
He can
who's on
remember
here.
everything.
It was when we was back at the old church. I'm going to be real. Obviously, my brother Mostafa, he'll get into his story a little bit because I don't think we ever got the full story. But, I knew Moose was Muslim. And Moose came to the church and he was preaching. And I was like, I just was looking at Moose like, I'm just keeping it real, y'all. I was like, okay, I don't know how I would necessarily be at a mosque, and I'm with it. I'm open to it, but, I was, he was preaching like Christ, doing his thing. And I was like, I was wondering how Moose was doing over there. I was like, Moose looked like he enjoying himself. You know what I'm saying? And then the sermon was fire. And that boy Moose came up to me and was like, man, that sermon was so fire, I feel closer to my God.
Amen.
Dog, he said, I'm closer to Allah as a result of him preaching. I said, wow. So anyway, man, just our, family, bro. Like, seriously, man. And then just an incredible human overall. Moose, for those who don't maybe know, the complete backstory, you were what they call a dreamer.
Yeah.
Explain to the people who don't know what a dreamer is, what it is, and then we'll get up to
Genesis 37:5.
Yeah,
Joseph had a dream.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, man, no. So I came to this country in 97 with my father, and, we came through legal paths. We were on a visa, but once that visa expired, there was no legal path.
You were how old?
7 years old.
7 years old. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so there was no legal path to stay in the country and do basic things like get a driver's license, get a job, get, financial aid or help going to school, any government programs or anything like that. None of it. So we grew, probably just a little bit below middle class, until my father was around. Then once my father passed, he had a massive heart attack suddenly when I was a freshman in high school. So once he passed, man, life kind of changed for me. I'm an only child, so I had to step up and really take control of the house and contribute just as much as I was going to school and focused on my studies. So it's an interesting thing because for first generation people in this country, I feel like if you grow up first generation, you are the child and the parent simultaneously.
Wow.
Because you're translating for your parents, like you're introducing them to the new ways.
Yeah.
And then you have to be one way at home and one way in school because you're now getting introduced to Western culture.
Yep.
So that was my
Western
situation.
culture.
Yeah.
What a concept.
That was my situation, man. So then of course September 11 happened. You mentioned being Muslim, and I love.
We'll talk about that because you were. Did you say that?
You
from
see
New
that?
York. And you were. How far were you from the towers?
Man, so I went to school in Queens, and of course the towers were in Manhattan. So I remember literally being in my classroom, and it was like the second week of school, and one of my classmates rose his hand and whispered to our teacher, like, "Hey, the World Trade Centers are on fire."
See him right from there.
You could see them right from our school windows, like literally where I was sitting. Teachers in front of me, and the windows to the left, you could see the smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Go crazy in the sky. So she rushed and closed the blinds, but literally the day after, and probably even until now, it was a different experience to be Muslim then, like September 10th and before that, and then September 11, 2001 beyond, it became a different experience. So you mix that in with not being documented, driving without a license, losing my father as an only child, still having to figure it out. So when I went to UMP7D, I suffered from extreme fear and lack of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I worked hard. I played baseball.
Yep.
I've done a lot of things. I had graduated. I was the first in my family. So I've done some things, but it was always under some form of coaching or guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
So I came to you as the coach, like, hey, do you think I can do this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how that came.
And it's crazy because not only you're Muslim in New York after 9/11, but you're in like the most progressive in New York. So you're thinking like if you ain't in no disrespect, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, during you would think New York would be like, oh, okay, this is a melting pot. We're straight. What was that like as a kid? Seriously though, being like, put us in your shoes, or like, because you were what grade were you?
5th grade.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, did y'all go back to school the next day? Did y'all take off for a week?
Nah, we, I know things had shut down in terms of, so of course, because I played baseball, I know baseball was shut down for a week. The only thing they showed on TV was the news all day, every day. That was the only programming on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't remember if we went back to school. I don't remember there being a large pause and whatnot. Like it kind of continued as usual, but life around us changed.
So do you remember like friends acting different towards you? Like
Yeah, because you know what? Even if it wasn't friends, it wasn't long before it was my type of people who looked like me, who spoke my language, or who came from my region of the world that were the bad guys in movies. And now subconsciously, people were being brainwashed to believe, when you see him, even if you're not saying it, you're thinking terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Like you're thinking things that aren't.
I know you were probably fluent in English at that point, but did you still have an accent?
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at picking up, how to mimic.
But because you came when you were 7. You're 10 now, right? So 11, 10,
11.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that's only you still. But so to be able to process that, what did that look like? Kind of getting over that.
Well, the crazy thing is, and this is why I'm so grateful, of course, for E and the flight assessment, because I didn't process it until I was 27.
Wow.
That's the crazy thing, man. Like for most people who are going through something in their lives and they don't understand why they are, like, people use the word trauma and mental health, and nothing to say, I'm not trying to say that I'm downplaying any of those things, because those things are real, but I don't think people really know where where it came from. Like, where does that trauma or hurt or that illness come from? Until you get to the root, that's the only way you can heal it.
Yeah.
And so at 27, I started going back because I'm seeing, it was the first time I saw my behavior on paper. I'm talking about as clear as that. I'm like, this thing know me. Really? Because we took the assessment at P70. And so I was, of course, air traffic control then, air traffic control now. I printed out the paper. I filled out the questions in the back. I went up to Chris, may he rest in peace. I was like, hey, man, he was like, wow, you're one of the only people who I've seen take this assessment and actually fill out the questions in the back. Like, I took it that serious. But it started to reveal things to me that I didn't even know about myself. And that's what opened up the melting pot for me to start investigating. Okay, you're fearful, and so you follow rules, but why? And I didn't start I didn't connect the dots then, man. Like, as a teenager, even going through high school, college, baseball, all of that, I didn't connect it then. It was 27, taking the assessment, and then I started to make the connection. Like, yo, it was this. So when the world went wild against me, I just repelled and became introverted. Because in Egypt, I was as extroverted as all get out. They said I was flipping tables and cursing people out.
And your father passed when you were how old?
I was 15.
Okay, so then it's like you go through that experience with the, the trade. Now
it's like every 4 years it seemed like.
Right.
I came to the States at 7, 11, 9/11, 15, father passed. And then 19, I was getting ready to go to college. They were like, oh yeah, you can't go. You can't get financial aid. You can't this, you can't that because of my immigration status. So it was like, I learned about it every 4 years.
All right, this one is for all my smoothie lovers out there. I've got some exciting news for you. National Smoothie Day is right around the corner, June 21st. And to celebrate, Organifi has an incredible offer that you do not want to miss, right? From June 21st to June 23rd, get a free crisp apple green juice with any order of their amazing complete protein, right? Now imagine starting your day with a delicious, nutritious smoothie made with Organifi's top-notch protein, and then boosting your energy and immunity with their refreshing crisp apple green juice. Absolutely free. Now, I'm not kidding, guys. This is my exact morning routine. When I go to the gym, I hit that protein in the morning, and then as soon as I get back, I do the green juice. Organifi's complete protein is not just any protein powder. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, and digestive enzymes, making it a perfect meal replacement or a post-workout recovery drink. Plus, it tastes incredible. And the crisp apple green juice, it's a game changer with a delightful apple flavor. It's loaded with superfoods like ashwagandha, moringa, and spirulina. It's perfect for a quick, healthy boost any time of the day. So why wait? Celebrate National Smoothie Day with Organifi and enjoy a free crisp apple green juice with any complete protein order. Head over to Organifi.com/success and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% off your order, all right? Don't miss out on this fantastic deal. Again, go to Organifi.com, Organifi.com/success. Treat yourself today to the best in health and wellness. Happy National Smoothie Day. I read recently that one of the ways you can immediately change the financial future of your family is through life insurance. Each of us should strive to make the next generation better, and this is a simple way to do it, and that's why we're excited to partner with Fabric by Gerber Life. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right here, right now. You could be covered from your couch in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got children, listen, especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. It's all online and on your schedule, so apply when it's convenient for you. Plus, there's absolutely no risk. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Fabric was designed by parents for parents, and now they've partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families like yours for over 50 years. They have over 1,800 five-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent. And Fabric has more than life insurance, free digital wills, investment accounts to invest for your kids' future, and so much more. And guess what? You can manage it right from your phone so your family is prepared for anything. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/success. That's meetfabric.com/success. MEET fabric.com/success. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
So I want to get into the assessment, but I kind of want to finish up where we were. So you recently have gotten your full, you know what I'm saying?
Almost full, yeah.
Well,
I'm on the other side.
But yeah. Well, I should say that. So I don't know. I can't never remember how it works. I never knew when Carl, because Carl used to be, in the same boat a little bit.
Yeah.
But, it seemed like every 2 years, Carl would be like, I got 2 more years. I'm like, dang.
It's a subjective process.
Yeah,
that's
but
why.
I mean, so take us through that process. Well, recently, I should say, you got to go back to Egypt.
Yeah.
And Maul and I are headed to Egypt.
I've been already.
Yeah.
We've been.
Yeah. But he told me not to go. You know what I'm saying?
You asked
Most
was I
guys-
going,
hey.
I said I'm not going.
But no. And so take us, and then also you had a beautiful baby, another one on the way. Congratulations on that. Just seeing you, like I said, I feel like I've known you since you was a kid, which I have, but talk about being able to go back with your wife and your baby and after, how many years was it?
22 years.
And of course, you couldn't go back before because you wouldn't have been able to come back.
Yeah, no. So even when my father passed away, it was a surprise to all of us, but he had always told us hey, come into this country. If anything happens to me, I want to be buried with my family, with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he passed, we sent him to get buried back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so up until that point, I had never visited his gravesite. I had no idea where he was buried. I had, nothing. And so...
Is he in Cairo or?
He is in the countryside of Egypt, which is about an hour and a half away from Cairo.
Okay, got you.
That's where he grew up. That's where he's, his resting place now. And so, I started to, begin this process after I got married, of course. And for the record, I didn't get married for papers because my wife posts a lot of stuff on social, and they said she posted something about a mixed couple. He was like, "Which one of y'all needed papers?" I was like in the comments.
Hey,
I was like,
mad.
"Hey, fair game," but it was a true love story.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have proof. We have one and one to
100%.
to validate it. But yeah, so going back was powerful, man. My uncle picked me up,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first time I had seen him in ages.
Did you remember the language from back then, or did you practice it all the way through with your mom? Or
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't lose any.
No,
You felt 100% good with the language.
but I still wasn't accepted over there though. Not in Egypt. I'm saying I was too American to be Muslim, and I was too Muslim to be fully American. So that was I was the misfit growing up because of that. Still to this day to some extent.
Yeah.
And I got to tell a funny story about Ian Carl when we went to Chipotle, because that's what really turned, kind of unlocked my breakthrough in growth. You know what I'm saying? I'll get to that. Yeah. No, because so going back to your story about me being at the church and all that. So if y'all remember, I first connected with you guys in 2012.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Way back.
You know what
And
I'm
I
saying?
remember thinking, what the hell is Muslim Mostafa doing at Alma College?
Right.
Alma is
From New York.
From New York.
From New York. Alma is not where you would think of nobody.
No.
Not at all.
I didn't know any better. I just went for baseball.
Isn't it crazy how God worked though?
Yeah,
And put you right down the street from us?
That's crazy. And Michigan is 13 hours north to south, and I'm like an hour and a half away.
That's crazy.
From y'all. So that was a blessing for sure. But, I first followed E into a church. So after we exchanged messages or whatnot, I came to an event. I think it was Rondell's event in New York. That's when you gave me your business card. I remember that.
Yeah.
Times Square.
Yeah.
What's up with Rondell, man?
I talk to him every now and then.
Really? Word, that's my guy. Shout out Rondell.
So definitely shout out to Rondell because he played a part into this. And then I followed E the following week into a church.
No, but what did you brought me something at Rondell. No, you came to me remember you was like, hey, what was it? It was iPhone cases.
The phone cases. Yeah.
That was Moose?
That was Moose.
It wasn't there. I had pitched that to you after.
Oh, okay, got you.
remember
And it was
that.
fire too.
Yeah. But
Moose was like, look, I'm just adding value. I got these phone cases on the low. I said, you really from New York?
No, it wasn't there though. In all honesty, it wasn't there.
Okay.
Because here's another. This is so crazy. This is the whole thing coming out. Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And your pops was mentoring him.
Yep.
So at Alma, Michael is dorming 2 rooms down from me. So I'm like, E.T., blah, blah, we gonna bring him to Alma. He's like, you talking about hip-hop preacher? And I'm like, how do you know? So then the story comes back and links back to CJ's pops.
Yep.
So this is crazy. I think we're definitely destined to
What
meet.
year is this?
For sure.
This
12.
was 2012.
Wow. 12. That's crazy.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
C was gone at the time, but when did you leave?
I left in 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was back.
Yeah, he was
I
back and forth, but
so
not
yeah,
living
for
there.
sure.
So anyway, it connected so many different pieces. So that's when I eventually said, man, I would love to, contribute to what y'all are doing. And that was a business that I had just kicked off when I graduated in I think 13, 14. So that's when I introduced it to y'all.
Yeah.
But, so let me just keep the story. For everyone listening, my bad, I know the story is going in so many different places, but this is like,
That's when it's good.
A time to
That's
catch
what
it
we
up.
do.
Yeah, this is when it's good.
Going back home, man, I was the first time I had seen my uncle, and I told you my father was, buried in Egypt.
Yep.
So I didn't tell you guys this part about Egypt because we were talking about the craziness, but I got detained in the airport in Egypt for 9 hours after I got off the plane.
Yeah.
They didn't let me out because I had an old passport. They were like, yo, we haven't seen this passport in ages. Who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm Egyptian. They're like, nah, not with this passport, you're not.
Really?
Because I had never gone
had your
home.
old-
20 plus years.
For 22 years.
Yeah.
So they had changed a lot of they said, nah, you're going to sit right here for a little bit. My wife, my daughter went out. They sat with the fam. They was waiting. I'm like, yo, just go to the hotel. She's like, nope, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here until you get out.
Yeah.
And finally,
9 hours?
9 hours.
Was they interviewing you the whole 9 hours or just sat you there?
Nothing. Just treating me like garbage.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
So, okay. Do you have, so now, I'm just curious about the process. Do you have a U.S. passport?
No. No, so I was going back to Egypt. Part of the reason why I was going home was to update my passport.
Okay.
Because I don't yet have an American passport. I have a green card.
Okay.
Which allows you to enter the States, not anywhere else. So if you leave the States, the green card is to let you back in.
Back in, that's it.
Egypt don't care about your green card. They still need a passport. That's what the world,
You didn't want to leave beforehand until you became a citizen,
like,
just in case you couldn't get back.
Yeah. I was like, let me wait.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm good with this. Oh,
Nah,
this boy.
hey, bro,
Yeah, no, I got.
You ain't want to get stuck.
And then,
They was
that's
like,
exactly
damn,
what it was. It was like a half-size notebook for real. So going back, there
You
was
was on there
like,
with your picture. You was like 6.
kid you not.
No,
Kid
me.
you
It's
not.
me. Look at me.
Yeah, kid you not. There was like, nah, you're gonna have to sit.
You really had your old picture on there.
I kid you.
From when you were what, like 7?
15.
15
I had
was the last
updated.
time you updated. Okay,
I
got
did it. 15.
it. Okay, it might have got away at 15.
little something.
Yeah, I want to see. So we need to see that. Put the picture up.
Still got that
Send me a
passport?
pic, Moose. You still
I
got
do. I do.
You didn't have to surrender it? All right, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah.
What? So then.
So anyway, finally after they let me in, man, at that point I was so frustrated. I was like, I could go back to home because to me the States is still home.
Yeah.
So, I could go back home right now. This is no good. So anyway, finally I get out and we walk out. I see my aunt. My aunt had just visited, but then I walk over and I see my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Where I broke down crying.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was looking at my dad.
Mm.
You know, that's his brother.
They look alike.
They look alike.
Man.
And I'm just like, wow, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I'm like, we could wrap this right here. I'm good.
Yeah.
So already I started to feel the healing
Wow.
of all of the stuff. You know, there was a little bit still left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the lack of confidence, the fear, all of these different things. I saw him and it started to make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It just started to really bridge the gap for me.
Yeah.
So I was so grateful to go back home and experience that. And then, cleaned up the passport situation, went and toured around a little bit, saw more of my aunts and uncles and cousins, people who I haven't seen in ages. It was a
So how long is the green card good for?
It's usually 10, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually renewing right now. I got an appointment tomorrow to renew the first one I got. So I got one for 2 years, and then the next one I think is like 5 to 10 years or something.
Okay, and then
during that process, they'll give me my citizenship.
Okay, got you. During that process, got you. Okay.
Finish the Chipotle story.
Oh, so let's go back to Chipotle.
You know the story?
Yeah, I was with him.
Oh yeah, it was recent too.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
I had just gotten married.
Lee was there.
Yeah,
Lee
Lee
was
Lamb.
Lamb was with us.
Lee Lamb.
Shout out to Lee.
Yeah, Lee was there.
Beautiful story though. Let me tell you. So when I say I follow E into the church, this happened multiple times. Obviously, we started working together, and it's clear as day.
Yeah.
E is a pastor. But the reason why I love E so much is never during this entire time, you're talking about 10 plus years, did he pressure me into like, yo, why don't you come out and check out the Bible? Or, never, ever. And I respect him so much for that. Never.
Yeah.
But low key, I always hid my faith. I don't know if it was because of 9/11 or because of the community. I've always muted my God in public because I felt that might create some, conflict that I'm not ready to handle.
And you gotta go home.
Yeah, and with my personality, I'm just not there for it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we come down here and we're hanging out. There was no events, nothing happening. I just came to visit Doc. I had some stuff going on.
Yep.
And so we go, oh, that's the pic.
That's the photo
funny.
right there.
Wow, you actually took it. So Lee, Carl, Doc, and myself would go out to Chipotle. So we're sitting and we're eating outside. It was just after COVID. So we're like, yo, let's sit outside just in case, whatever. So these 3 elder ladies come by. And of course, our introverted friend here couldn't help himself. He could not help himself.
Thank you for being a friend. Golden girls over here. You know what I'm saying?
Started the dialogue with them.
Oh, for sure.
20 minutes later. So I'm like, oh. The story comes up. It's like, what do you do? He's like, oh, well, I'm a pastor, local pastor here at our church. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. So how did you get saved?
Talking to you.
Talking to Eve.
Oh, okay, got you.
And so I thought it was going to end right there. He's the local pastor.
No doubt.
So you just need to know how he got saved. Don't worry about us. But she said...
Everybody get out the car. Everybody get out the car.
Then she went round robin. Lee Lamb, Carl, and then myself. So then here come the opening.
Musa, I was born saved. My guy had me from the womb to the tomb.
So I'm like, dang, I don't even know that I can explain this story.
Yeah.
So Carl had said, I was born into the faith, my mom and my dad, and they came over to me and I just said, looked at E, said, same. I said, same.
What you mean same?
I just went with Carl right here. It's just associated.
Yeah.
But the big lesson in that is, I went home and I was thinking about it. I said, man, I keep code switching on God in public, but I want him to be there for me, at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, no, you can't switch up on God publicly because it's not convenient to the masses or to the environment or the situation that you're in. If you claim a faith, you have to claim it through and through. So now I start with, and this is why I think even you started the pod,
come on.
Muslim, and I'm like, man,
for sure.
this makes me feel so much more comfortable.
Let me say something, Moose so sweet now, he trying to get him to run the church. We just hired Moose as our director of Christian operations.
Yeah, Muslim for Christian operations. You feel me?
Moose is the new executive director for Christian operations.
Because
Bible study will be at his house.
Yeah. Hey,
look.
Because he more Christian than a lot of y'all.
Than most Christians.
Than a lot of Christians.
Oh, bruh.
You got to go with what works. But I never told you this story, though. You did have an influence. I don't remember what happened, but I don't remember what part of Jalen's life he was in, but you took him to the mosque with you. And after that, when Jalen would have a just whatever experience, he would just go to the mosque, wherever he lived.
Wow.
And he would call me and be like, yeah, Dad, I just went to go pray. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So, I don't know if it was public.
And we went to that mosque in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, man.
Bro,
I wanted to come tear my church down.
Yeah.
I wanted to destroy it. Like, y'all are not representing.
This is not on the level it should be.
This is not.
All right, so I want to use the rest of the time, Moose, because you are our resident expert with the assessment. Man, we got the assessment branded completely out in our flight assessment, as we like to call it, which I know we talk about it, and some people always hit me like, yo, what y'all be talking about, pilot, da-da-da? Can you explain quickly the 4 personality types, how we label them, and why this work is so important that we're doing and why people need to know in order to self-assess?
I have a really great relationship with our local bank manager. And in one of our recent conversations, he told me that most people aren't really paying close attention to their accounts until something big goes wrong. Then all of a sudden you see it. What happened? But there are so many little transactions happening daily that we don't really pay attention to. And that's where Rocket Money comes in. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, listen, you have full control over your subscriptions and a clear view of your expenses. You can see all of your subscriptions in one place, and if anything looks weird, Rocket Money can help you cancel it with just a few taps. The app also shows your spending habits, compares this month to last month's spending, and it helps you to create a custom budget to keep your spending on track. And here's the most fantastic feature. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll handle all the customer service for you. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/S, the number 2S. Again, that's rocketmoney.com/S2S, rocketmoney.com/S2S. Well, what's going on, S2S fam? Listen, today's episode is brought to you by our longtime partner, Shopify. You know, when we first ventured into online entrepreneurship, we never thought we'd be selling like the books, the shirts, even digital products. And you know what made it all so seamless? Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the just launching your online store stage to the hitting the million order stage, Shopify's got you covered. And guess what? They power 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Plus, Shopify doesn't just stop at online sales. With their in-person POS system, you can sell anywhere, anytime. And let's talk about that checkout. It's the internet's best converting, making sure that those browsers turn into buyers. You don't have to take my word for it. The data shows that Shopify converts 36% better on average when compared to other leading commerce platforms. And then guys, talk about the Shopify magic. This is new. It's their AI-powered all-star that can help you sell more with less effort. It's like having a business genie. You know what I love the most though about Shopify? It's the fact that Shopify is like a spider web on the internet, guys. It seamlessly integrates to just about any other platform that you could be using. And then they have so many apps, from pixel tracking to even translating your store into different languages if you're trying to reach those different markets. It has it all. So whether you're selling scented soaps or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. Shopify has been there for us and millions of other entrepreneurs worldwide. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/secret to success, all lowercase. Again, go to shopify.com/secret to success. Go there now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/secret to success.
Yeah. So you coined that frame, right? The inability to self-assess. And there's actually research that backs that, and it says that 90% of people are not self-aware, which is what you gain through self-assessing. So you have to go under this self-assessing process, this evaluation process, to actually know the deep and intimate parts of who and how you are. And we're looking at 4 categories. Like, just for that part of our assessment, we're looking at how you make decisions and solve problems, how you communicate with others, how you pace things in your environment, and how you respond to structure, rules, and order. So that evaluation process helps you to start to wake up and gain better insight as to why you've had the success you have, why you haven't had the success, what blind spots, things will really start to connect for you. So we, going back to that research, 90% of the people claim to be self-aware, but only 10% of them actually are.
And when you say aware, you just mean knowing your strengths, weaknesses, just like really having a strong grasp on who and what you are.
Yeah. So they claim to be like, I know who I am. I know my strengths, and we say limitations, which is essentially weaknesses, and to have that understanding, but only 10% of the people actually are. So the powerful thing about that is that means in a room of 10 people, 9 people think they know what they're talking about, but they actually don't. And they're convicted.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I talked to one yesterday. Yeah.
So the assessment, we've grouped it off to essentially theme it with a story to help you better understand the data and the analytics and the research of it. So Doc came up with, this concept of the flight assessment, because when you're traveling from one place to another, you need all 4 of these personalities to cooperate and to really make this operation work. So you have the pilot who's flying the plane from, where it is to its final destination. You have the flight attendants who are making it an enjoyable experience for you on the plane. You have the ground crew who have their hands in everything. I mean, they are bringing beverages and snacks up to the plane to be served, as well as, helping pilots navigate on and off the runway. And then, of course, the air traffic control who oversee the operations from afar, controlling details, schedule, and things like that.
Yeah, can you explain why it's so important? I guess you just kind of laid it out in terms of a flight, but just even in terms of like how we run our business on a day-to-day and hiring practices and things of that nature, and how much you just knowing who somebody is and what their assessment are can help you evaluate their skill set that much quicker.
Yeah, so from a leadership standpoint, at least for myself over the years, it's helped me to first attack my own limitations, right? Like that fear of not wanting to handle conflict or being overly introverted and not expressive. Like this version of me that you're seeing right now, I don't think it was available, 4 or 5. I'm sure it was there, but I just didn't know how to tap into it because of everything that I had experienced. And so first, for those of you listening and you're saying, man, I want to increase my leadership ability, the assessment first helps you to understand who would you naturally gel with and who are those people that you're just like, I don't even want to talk to them. Like they give me so much anger and frustration, or it's so difficult to work, I don't even want to talk to them.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why he has his own wing in my house. Hint, hint. That's why he's going to Egypt with me for my birthday. He's doing a great job.
It wasn't my choice.
Inability to self-assess.
Oh, bro. Yeah,
90% of people think
oh, bro. It's funny.
Right.
I prayed for this, though.
you pray.
I prayed for this.
Yeah. So
You were saying people you can't stand being around.
Yeah, no, it helps you. It helps you understand them folks. Yeah, and then of course, from a hiring standpoint, you know where to position people, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people focused on when you first bring somebody on. That's hiring. To me, hiring is when you are interviewing, when you bring them on, and how you work with them afterward.
Yeah.
Right? Like hiring doesn't stop because you just signed the paperwork and they went through their HR process.
Yep.
No, that's when actually hiring begins now. Because now you're having to think about, okay, how do I work with this person? Where do I position them? What can I give them? How can I cover their blind spots? Because not everyone is perfect.
Yeah.
And for most of us, when we hire someone, we as leaders or bosses feel like, oh, I can just unload everything onto them.
Right.
And they're going to do a greater job as me. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I think for all of us, I mean, we got every
style covered in the room.
Every style covered in the room. And so it helped me as a leader just understand, probably more so with Carl. You know what I'm saying? Because me and Carl, I used to have smoke with Carl because I used to just be like, when are you, like, punch somebody in the face, please. And I started to realize, like, oh, Carl's never gonna punch anybody in the face. But what Carl does have is all these amazing things. And I told y'all, we were so stupid, me and E, when we got together, we was like, of course, our personalities gel. You know what I'm saying? Like, the pilot and the flight attendant is like, you see them all the time. They had front kicking, they doing their thing. And I just remember me and E were in the office and he was like, man, we got to recruit. And Carl would just be sitting right there. And he's an S, grounds crew, which is, again, pilot, flight attendant. It's exactly what we need.
What you need, yep.
And we would just be looking past Carl like, if it was only somebody we could add. But we're looking for other pilots and flight attendants. Right. So I think the key thing is understanding that the last thing I needed was another flight attendant. He had enough flight attendant to take over an entire campus. No, I'm just saying, you just said it. We didn't need another extrinsic personality. Like, we needed somebody who was like, yo, I will literally, and so as stuff kept coming up and Carl would be like, all right, like, give me a minute. That's Carl's favorite, saying back then was just like, it literally ended up with Carl like, yo, can you just, and Carl be like, all right, I got it. He was like the catch-all.
Yeah.
It was like anything that he didn't want to do or I didn't want to do or we weren't capable of doing, we'd give it to Carl. He could do it.
Yep.
And so for those of you out there who are, man, we've used this. I'm telling y'all, business is cool. We've used this in our families, in our personal life, as a way for marriages to get on another level. I think it's just so important that people understand it. And again, most people, you think that you're looking for yourself, right? I think that's the natural tendency.
You think that would be best,
right? Exactly.
Is to find someone like you.
Hey, don't leave out parenting.
Oh, parenting, for sure. Knowing what your kids.
Yeah.
Well, your kid,
They haven't taken it, but Jordan is definitely a pilot air traffic control.
So crazy.
That combination.
So Trey is a flight attendant air traffic control. Crazy, right? I mean, I know that's not a combination you see all the time. super social, make all kind of friends. He outgoing. He want to tell jokes, do the whole nine. He will not move until he understand. I tell this story all the time. Here's a perfect example of my kids, right?
Yeah.
We go to dinner, and I think I told this before, but we go to dinner, and they give you the kids the menus you can draw on and stuff like that or whatever. And this was maybe a year or two ago, and the kids had their menus, and one's like a crossword, and one is like a word search, and one is like a whatever. And there was a space on the back that just said free draw. Like draw whatever, just draw a picture.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, this just the two difference in my kids, right? Said, Avery, draw daddy a picture. Thought you'd never ask. Boom, she go to work. Said, Trey, draw me a picture. I looked at my wife. I kicked her under the table and said, watch this. He looked at me and said, what kind of picture? And I said, draw, it doesn't matter, just draw anything. He was like, what do you want me to draw you? And I said, anything, a Spartan. He was like, you want a helmet, Spartan,
Or
the Sparty logo, or like a 300, the old Gladiator Spartan?
Wow.
And I was like, just draw the Gladiator. He was like, do you prefer it be like metal or bronze? I'm sitting here and I was just like, yo, this is the assessment right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, but he's super outgoing, but I'm like, wow, like, mind you, my daughter's done with the picture. She's like, Daddy, here you go. I'm finna draw you another one. It's just like stars in space or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just her natural personality was just like, I'm free-spirited. She artsy. She loves like kinesthetic stuff like Play-Doh and like clay.
So what is she? What would you say she is?
I would say it's interesting because as she's gotten a little older,
She shifted.
yeah, she shifted more into her eye, but she's a pilot for sure.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Because everyone, she not
She's
scared
in
to
control.
tell you. Yeah, she's not
she's
scared
in
to be in
It's
control.
amazing
control.
how you can see your kids.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
only one that we gave the assessment to was Jasmine. And she was a 99 pilot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Lil J is-
and she had, and you see it. Little J
Ah.
is E.T.
Bro,
Oh.
attendant all out.
Him and E get on the phone and they both be, how you doing? How you doing? Check it up,
Yeah.
check it up on you. Oh, they having a good time. And Yanni is more of a grounds
I say
crew
grounds crew.
and more of a air traffic control. You have to have everything outlined.
I just thought about that though with Trey. I'm like, that's not. Who else do we know? Anybody else who's a flight attendant and an air traffic controller?
That's a rare combination.
It kind of is, because you think of a flight attendant just being so bubbly and all over the
But
place.
I
and hype. It's
always
like,
say, man, like, those two are the same. Like when you really get into them, they're the same. They're just opposite coins, whereas the pilot and the ground crew are the same thing, just opposite, like heads, tails, So really a flight attendant is, it's the same thing, bro. It's just the way that they operate. But I want to say this for people who are listening. I only think 10% of the world doesn't need to take the assessment because 10% of the world are aware. So there's just a small group of people, humans, that just are aware.
How do you know if you're one of those 10?
You know it because you have opinions or you have ideas or you have thoughts and you execute on them.
And they work.
And
And they work. You get
Well, that's what I
results.
Mm-hmm.
mean when I say execute.
Yeah,
That's why I never took this assessment.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that is the
You know what I'm saying?
that is the reality of it. Now, I think that 10% would be wise to take it because the level that they will get to by themselves is not the same level they'll get to if they can get
100%.
another group that aren't aware. Because here's what I said a few podcasts ago, Moose, and bro, I really mean this with all my heart. I was talking about Swaggy P, and Swaggy P was just saying, you do not win a championship because of your stars. Because the judge gonna come through, bro.
Yeah.
He gonna hit home runs, bro.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, it's not, what I'm saying? It's not up for debate. It's one of the mid-range people that is gonna determine. So Joker put up his points. It's like people like, oh, they talking all this about Joker. Like, bro, they needed 3 people to beat Joker. It is what it is. And he still played 48 minutes and still put up his points, bro, and got his assist. So they didn't lose because of Joker. I'm not going to say no names because I'm close to the organization.
Yeah.
But there were other people and this is why I laugh when people say, oh, bruh, you don't need no motivation. You don't need no motivation if you one of the 10% that's highly aware. Right. If you not, the other ones need motivation. Why? Because they don't have the ability to stay themselves all the time. Mm-hmm. It takes circumstances. But the part that most people don't want to acknowledge is that your company is not dope because you dope. Because you still have to rely on those other people. Right. Period. And you're not, especially if you super dope, you're not at the middle level. So they not coming to you. Mm-hmm. Oh, it'd be great if every program we've ever done, you went straight to ET and you got ET every time. That's not the reality. Depending on who is in our food chain and you got to deal with this person, you're not getting what you would get from me. Mm-hmm. So the company then is bottlenecked with our not aware people who are not all the way there. So the assessment is important because you have to figure out how to get the people that you brought on who have the potential to be, you got to constantly work with them to get them at a level and keep them at that level because they're the yo-yo. It's not the Anthony Edwards. We already know he going to score. Is Carl going to, what's that, Carl?
Carl Anthony Towns.
If he going to score. And what was the other one name?
Daniels. Oh, Gobert.
Gobert was another one.
Daniels. McDaniels?
No. Is the other tall.
Gobert.
That's
Rudy Gobert.
No, that's another. We got braids.
Nas Reed.
Nas, yeah.
So
So you got the three of them. So I'm going to be real. They won the first two games. They could have swept them. But for whatever reason, the next three games, whatever they did the first two games, those dudes weren't able to do that.
Yep.
Edwards, he had no problem. He didn't have no problems. He wasn't talking different, peak or valley. He wasn't talking different. Yeah. He was like, we about to, you know what I'm saying? We going to do what we going to do against them. You feel what I'm saying? And so I think it's important to get because, again, if you're a husband and you killing the game, it doesn't matter if you're killing the game if your wife not killing the game. Yeah. If your wife and you killing the game, but your kids screwing up stuff, it doesn't matter that the two of y'all killing it. You got to have many kids you got that could destroy the legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's research that shows once you get past the first one and you call this thing a legacy, or the second one going to automatically be in legacy because of what you did. But that third one going to determine if they destroy everything you built or not.
5 generations.
You feel me? That third generation is going to decide, do we keep this legacy going or whatever granddad worked for, I'm about to blow it out the frame. So it's really not an option to take it. It's not an option to learn you. It's not an option to learn others.
Moose, how can they take for those of y'all out there been asking all the time, how can they go take the assessment and where do they go? And then what do they do after that?
No, it's a simple process to at least get access to it. Flightassessment.com. You can get the assessment direct, and we have consultations and coaching that is available with it as well to help you get the most out of your individual report. We have several programs that also include the assessment, whether that be with the UOU Mastermind or Extreme Execution. So it just depends on people's needs, but it's something that I recommend people take at least once a year. Until they really have a grasp or a deep understanding of themselves and the other 3 dominant personalities, and then they can back off a little bit because you don't need to retake it as much. Nothing's gonna change at that point. Now you just have to work the 2 main concepts, or what I call the fundamentals, which is maximizing strengths and minimizing limitations.
My man Moose, appreciate you joining us, man. Shout out to our Patreon fam, man, listening. As always, we appreciate y'all. For the rest of y'all, go to patreon.com, type in S2S Podcast, join the Patreon right now, become a part of the family. I got to get to the airport. Well, I got to get some food first, and then we're going to get to the airport. Moose, brother, you're going to be on quite a bit now. We see if we can get you to replace Maul.
Oh, absolutely. My brother. Brother, you know what I will be doing if I didn't pray for you. Hey, bro, gladly.
We out here. We love y'all. We'll
see you next week. Hey, and we're going to put you next to
That's like hitting the lottery, baby. I'm free. That's a free.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul, with all your...
Wait, you ain't got to apologize to me. Because if you lie this time, you're done for life.
But as you're telling the story now,
We all came out the same goddamn hole.
his father's addicted to drugs.
Because I knew it was something big. I didn't think it was that.
Is it like a battle in your mind during that time?
I'm so comfortable because nobody's acknowledging Eric.
I mean, now that I'm listening to the story, it's like,
Wow, you don't trust me?
did you ever lie though?
Thank you so much for rocking with us as always, right? We don't take it lightly, guys. And we hope that we've provided transformation and not just information. We want you to become the best version of yourself, right? Make sure you check out the show notes to access all the important links and get your product discounts. Now, one favor we're asking of you, do us this favor. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We want to know your feedback and how we can serve you better. And if there's anyone that you think could benefit from listening to this show, please, I'm begging you, please share it with them. And remember, as E always says, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.